Okay, welcome back for part 2 of the Upper Body Complex. I'm Mike Granfone, and we're going to be dealing with the posterior structure today for part 2. Alright, so from the first one, we've tested where we are, we've retested where we are, we've worked on the chest, the pecs, the pec minor, all the structures that would be pulling us forward into a bad postural position. Alright, so now we're going to look at the lats, the thoracic extensors, the thoracic spine itself, and then the scapula, because this is basically showing you that there's a huge interplay between all these things going on, and if there's one thing off, it can affect everything. Alright? So we're going to start off rolling our lats. Down on the ground, side rolling position or side lying position. We're going to roll the lats, first with the arm down at our side, making sure we're covering the whole area of our lats, up and down. Alright? Then we're going to stretch out the lats, put the hand down, overhead position, and then we're going to address the same structures, just in an extended position. Alright? From there, when we get to our back, our T-spine, start at the bottom. If you don't know where your T-spine is, basically the midpoint or just below your scapula. Alright? Hug yourself, spread out those tissues. Alright? Get parallel and roll all the way up to the base of your neck, back and forth. Okay? So once you've done that, obviously you're going to do lats on both sides and then your T-spine. We're going to mobilize the thoracic spine a little bit, okay? So you can do it either way. You can do regular extensions, segmentally. I prefer to start at the top and work my way down, all right, because it brings in some bracing techniques as well as a little glute activation stuff. So bring your hands up, all right? So now we're stretching, we're re-stretching those same tissues that we've already worked out, put them in an extended position, all right? I'm going to come up, bridge, all right? And then I'm going to drop my hips down. So I'm keeping that proximal segment in place while I dissociate down, okay? So I'm going to do 1 or 2 at each level. If I have a sticky segment, I'm going to stay there a little longer to make sure I work that out. And I'm just going to work all the way down, all right? Now, of course, I can just go back up doing your normal T-spine extensions at each segment, all right? So after that, I'm going to go to the side, side-lying position, hand over hand. All right, making sure this leg stays put. What I'm going to do is try to draw a giant circle around my body, trying to keep this arm straight, up and around. I'm going to feel like I'm extending and rotating up and around, and then I'll just come over the top. All right, so we're tying in T-spine extension, T-spine rotation, and hopefully now that we've cleaned all this stuff up, we can do it a lot easier. All right, so after all that's done, I'm going to grab a band, and I'm going to work on my scapula activation. All right, and you can do any drill. You can do wall walks, wall slides, anterior wall slides. I'm just going to show a band pull down for the sake of demonstration. So I'm going to take my band roughly about shoulder width, start over my head, and I'm going to think about getting into a little bit of an elevated position with my scapula. I'm going to try to depress and pull down and pull apart. Okay, I'm going to do that about 10 to 15 times. And really working on the motion of the scapula rather than just using my arms or the bigger muscles in my back. All right? So we basically rolled the lats, rolled the T-spine, extended the T-spine, rotated the T-spine, and then we're going to tie in some scapular movement at the end. Okay? So once that's all done, go back to the PVC pipe, and now check the range of motion, see how much more we've got. Okay? And make sure that we're not getting it from somewhere else. We're not borrowing from the low back, or we're not compensating to facilitate that position. Okay? So that's part 2. Make sure you go through in the same order. Go through part 1. Test, retest. Go through part 2. Test, retest. And let me know how it's worked out for you. All right? Thanks a lot.